Hi everyone, welcome back once again to movie reviews. A little bit of different setup this time. I'm not in the car, mainly because it's like 30 degrees outside and it's freaking cold. Also, I'm out of tapes for my other camera, so I'm having to use this one. I haven't having issues with the sound on this one, so hopefully you guys can hear me okay. It's not distorted or anything. If it is, I apologize. I don't have my full setup yet, so I'm working with what I got, so bear with me. As I said, this is a movie review. No, I'm not working for the movie theater again. Uh, Although I did get a call back from one of the theaters here, but I'm already working at another job, and I just can't swing a second job at the moment. So, not working for the movies, but had a little bit of extra money, and I was bored, so I decided to go see another movie. Originally planned to go see Thor. It's not showing at the local theater here. I don't know why. I was going to go see Prisoners, because I heard that one was pretty good. But it's only got 2 showings, and they're early in the day, and that's when I'm working. There's a couple other things I thought about seeing, but the time was kind of odd for when I could actually get to see them. So the only thing I had an option to see was Jackass Presents Bad Grandpa. So I went to see Bad Grandpa. What to say about Bad Grandpa? If you're a fan of the Jackass films, you'll probably enjoy it. If you're going into it thinking it's going to be a movie like Bad Santa or, to a lesser extent, Bad Teacher, no, it's not that at all. Basically, they came up with this idea for a movie, and they went out and filmed basically Jackass 4 or 5, whatever they would be up to now, but they only did it with 2 of the billions of characters they normally do, and then they filmed intermediate scenes to tie it together into a movie. Let's get into the summary of the movie, so if you don't want any spoilers, jump ahead. It starts out with a little boy sitting in this office, and there's a couple people sitting around him, and he starts talking to him, just striking up friendly little kid conversation, and then he starts telling him how his mother's going to jail because she's addicted to crack. So they're kind of looking at him like, are you serious? What are you talking about, kid? Type of thing. And then the mom comes out of the office, grabs him, and they leave. Then it cuts over to Johnny Knoxville as the old man. What the hell was he doing in the first part? I don't even remember. Anyway, his wife had just died. Him and his wife are supposedly the parents of the girl who's going to jail, and the little boy is his grandson. He's having a funeral for his wife who just passed away, and he's at the service, and he's talking about how he wishes his daughter and grandson could have been there. Suddenly they show up. So he's like, oh, these are my daughter and grandson, and his daughter's like, can I talk to you for a minute outside? So he goes, yeah. He goes, choir, can you? Or he goes, excuse us for a moment. While we go outside and talk. So they go outside to talk, and he still has the microphone on in his hand. So they're outside arguing about how she's going to jail and everything, and they're arguing back and forth. And one guy comes out, he's like trying to tell them that their microphone's still on, and they're like, "Oh, we'll be right back. We'll be right back. Just give us a minute." They go back in after arguing. So this whole reception is like looking around like, what the hell's going on? This is kind of embarrassing family business being aired, blah, blah, blah type of thing. So then the daughter steals the necklace off of the mother's corpse, and everyone's looking, and it's like real obvious that she's doing it, so everyone's looking at her like, what the hell, and then the old man sees her doing it and tries to get it from her, and as they're fighting, they knock over the casket, and the body falls out. So everyone's like freaking out, and like, not sure what's going on. He's like, he's like, choir, can you start singing something, just like distract from what's going on? So the choir actually gets up and starts singing, a little hesitantly, but they do. So then it turns out that since she's going to jail, she needs the old man to take the grandson to his father. And at first he's reluctant to do it. He's like, this is the first time I've not had your mother for several years. He goes, I want to go out and experience the little bit of my life that's left type of thing. But he gets stuck with the grandson. So then he calls in an intermediary to communicate between him and the son-in-law because they don't get along. Because the son-in-law is a drunk, obviously, or drug addict, something. He's trailer trash, basically. So they're communicating over Skype, I believe. It's a video thing like this. And they're at an internet cafe, and they call in a counselor because obviously they're going to have trouble communicating. So they're sitting there arguing in the middle of this internet cafe, and the counselor's like trying to keep everything calm, which this isn't really that exciting of a scene, but it's just them arguing back and forth and kind of being disruptive in public, I guess. In the meantime, the father has a couple roommates, I guess, in this place that he lives. One of them's a juggalo, has his face painted, his hair dreaded, and he sits down on the couch behind him and starts smoking out of a bong. Obviously, good environment for a kid, right? Then he's got this little skank of a girlfriend roommate running around, and she's like wearing like really short Daisy Dukes, a cut off top, barely covering anything. And at first the dad's like, I can't take him. I got my own stuff going on. I can't really have him here. And then the girl says that my cousin or something took in some kids and got like $600 a month just for having them. So then the dad's like, okay, well I guess I can take him if I'm gonna get $600 a month, because that's what he needs to start his new business, which it wasn't really a business. So then basically they just do that in the middle of this internet cafe. Then they get on the road. But before they get on the road, they call a moving van to the house to help them move some furniture that was going through the estate sale. Oh, they had the estate sale too. But anything that didn't get sold in the estate sale, they called the moving van to come help them move. When they get there, he says, I need you guys to move the bed for me. And his wife's body is in the bed. Supposedly, after the whole incident at the funeral home, they went to take proper disposal of the body. So he took it back. Or there was an issue over the money or something. I don't remember what they said. So he has these movers help him put his wife's dead body in the trunk of his car. And then they go on the road taking the kid to the dad. Along the way, they stop at hotels and whatnot and restaurants, and they just do regular jackass pranks. At one point, they're sitting in a restaurant eating, and they start having a farting competition. And then Johnny Knoxville is like, yeah, I can outdo you, and he gets up on the chair, and he's like pushing really hard, and he lets out this fart, and then like diarrhea explodes on the wall behind him, and he's like, oh, we need to go, So they walk out, and then everyone's looking around like, hey, that guy just shit all over the wall. So it's basically back and forth shit like that as they're on the road. He goes to a couple strip clubs. Actually, the one strip club is a really funny scene because it's a male strip club, and he goes in and he realizes it's a male strip club. He goes, well, that's fine. He's talking to one of the strippers. He's like, that's fine. You guys get them worked up, and then I'll take them home and take care of them. So then he's like flirting with the ladies in there, and that's a pretty funny scene. I think that was the one I laughed at the most. So then they get to where they're going, gonna meet up with the father, and for some reason they're meeting up at a bar. And at this bar is a biker rally, and the biker gang happens to be, like protectors of children or something like that. So basically they're a biker gang that looks out for children who might be being abused. If there's anything they see going on, they'll step in and basically protect the child. So they meet up there, and this gang can kind of see there's some hostility between the grandfather and the father. So, you know, one of the guys from the biker group follows Johnny's old man character outside, and he goes, you know, I can see there's a little hostility. As long as we're here, and as long as they're in this bar, he's like, your grandson will be safe. We'll look out for him. And, of course, it being Jackass, they escalate a fight between the old man and the father. Because the old man decides to come back and get the kid, and he's going to stay with him instead. So, of course, the father starts trying to fight him, so all these bikers jump on him, and, like, the lady bikers, like, usher the kid outside so he doesn't have to witness the fight, and they're entertaining him outside until the old man comes out, and they're like, you know, you guys go ahead, take off, we'll keep him inside until you guys are gone. And, like, the one biker looked like he was seriously about to kick the father's ass. I mean, he had him by, you know, the shirt collar, and he was telling, like, I'm an angel of death you don't want to meet, type of thing. So he could tell he was about to put a hurting on this guy if they hadn't called it off pretty quick. But then as Johnny's pulling away in the car as the old man, of course he knocks over all their bikes. And then they take off. And then he takes the boy fishing. Or no, because there was one more scene beforehand, which was in the preview. He goes, well, what do you want to do now? You know, we can do whatever you want. He's like, well, let's go have some fun. And at one point they were looking at this flyer for a beauty pageant, for one of them little, like, Jean-Benet Ramsey pageant things, or Honey Boo Boo pageants, whatever the hell you want to refer to them as. Toddlers and Tiaras, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. So they go, well, let's go have some fun. So they go, and that's the scene that's in the preview where the little boy's dressed up as a girl, and he's in this little talent show, and he does a stripper act. And Johnny Knoxville comes on, and he's like throwing dollar bills all over him. So that's that, and then they run out of there, and then they decide to go fishing, and that's basically the end of the movie. As the credits are rolling, you see, like, as they're in these real world events, like after everything plays out, someone comes in and he like snaps a marker, and everyone's like, what are you doing? He's like, well, because I had to do the marker because we're shooting a film here and you're all in the movie. And you can tell some people didn't sign off on their appearances because randomly in the movie people's faces are blurred. Like in the opening scene where you first see Johnny Knoxville as the old man, he's walking down the street in the park, and there's a lady in the background and her face is blurred, and it's just because he turns and goes, hi miss, how you doing today? And she's just walking her dog, and I don't know if they couldn't find her to get her to sign off on it, or she just didn't want to be in it. So that's when you kind of know it's going to be a Jackass movie. It's not like actual actors being filmed other than the main ones that are in it. Everything else is a natural reaction. They do show some outtakes, like when the boy's in the office at the beginning saying his mother's on crack. There's actually 2 or 3 different takes of him having this discussion with different people. So obviously they went to these places on different nights, or different days or whatever, and filmed a couple different times, and just took the best reactions to make the movie out of. And then it's just filled in with a lot of stuff like, you know, like driving scenes where they're just filming inside the car with the old man and the boy having this little heart-to-heart conversation, or in the hotel room type of thing where they discuss what they're going to do the next day and have the little back and forth that you would see normally in the movie. So yeah, it's basically they just filmed a bunch of Jackass stuff with just this old man character and the little kid character, and then they filmed a bunch of intermediate shit to tie it together into an actual movie. Like I said, overall, if you're a fan of the Jackass franchise, you'll probably like it. It's got that standard Jackass comedy, but it's only the 2 characters, nothing else. So if you're looking for Steve-O throwing up, or diving into a pool of shit, or Bam showing his dick and getting punched in the nuts, any of that stuff, it ain't gonna be there. It's just Johnny Knoxville and the little kid. So if you're going into it thinking it'll be a movie like I said, like Bad Santa or Bad Teacher or anything else, it tries, but it misses the mark. if they had gone one way or the other, it would have been a good film. But trying to do a half and half, it's so sporadic that it just takes you out of the film. Like, as soon as you're trying to get serious about it, oh, here's comedy. And if you're like, oh, I want to see the comedy, oh, here's one of those dragged down, I want to be a real movie moments. So yeah, it's not a bad film if you're just looking to laugh at something, but there are some dead points in it where you're going to have to get through the story to get to the next funny part. If you're going into it wanting to see a movie about this old man who finds his way to loving this child, there's better movies out there to watch than this one. As far as a star rating, probably gonna have to drop it right in the middle of the road. Give it like a 3. Yeah, 3 out of 5. As I said, they had gone more in one direction than the other, or the other direction instead of the other direction, it probably would have ranked a little bit higher, but because of the back and forth, it ends up being just kind of middle of the road to me. Not much else to say about it. If you like Jackass, go watch it. If not, then you might want to skip this one. Watch something else. I'm not sure what I'm going to get around to reviewing next for movie reviews. I kind of want to go see a couple other movies, but they've been out for a while, so whether or not I'll review them at this point, maybe, maybe not. Bad Grandpa's still fairly new. That's the only reason I'm doing this. If it had been out for a while at this point, I probably wouldn't be doing this review. But I wanted to give you something. Anyway, so that's it for this review. As always, thanks for watching. Hopefully the audio is not too bad on this. If it is, I should be getting my microphone and stuff set back up pretty soon. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, see you at the movies.